Hey everybody, today I'm going to be putting in this cool little gizmo into the Ram today. It is a touch sensitive switch panel. From what I understand, it kind of works like an SPOD from what I understand of the SPODs. This panel here will go into the cab of the truck. It'll run via a VGA cable to this relay box here. And whenever once it's set up, whenever you want to wire in a new accessory, you just plug it in here. And it corresponds to the number on the switch panel, and you're good to go. Let's get into it. Alright, starting off, some things you will need. Everything here over comes with the touch panel. I got this on Amazon, and I'll link it below if you're interested in checking it out. But you have your relay box, the actual panel, a VGA cable, some indicators of the switches. Has some these are stickers that go over the switch for your accessories. There's a few there, and I guess you can look for more online if you need to, if you have something that's not there. These blade connectors, I'm not going to actually use these. These are to plug into the relay. I'm just going, like, whatever accessory I decide to put in, I'm just going to run a wire right to this and put my own blade connector on. So I'm not going to use these, but they're there if you need them. Some mounting screws, I'm not going to use these either. If you want to screw this down to whatever. And this does come with some other blade connectors if you do want to use those for your own wires. That's that. Other things you will need are some connectors and tips. I'm going to be using these 10 gauge connectors to connect the, another thing that comes with the kit is these wires. I've already screwed them on to the back of this. And then I'll just connect the wire run into my fuse panel onto here. So some connectors and some terminal connectors. I'm going to use these as well. 10 gauge wire I'm going to use to run this to my fuse panel, and of course some electrical crimpers / splicers and whatnot. So we're underneath the hood here, and after some test fitting with my cable to make sure I had enough, I decided to mount my panel right in here behind the driver's side battery. Of course, I have a battery A, and then this is my fuse panel that I wired in. I had it running through a low voltage disconnect, and then the panel. I do have a video on putting this in, so if you want to check that out, I'll put it below also. So I got my wire, I got this. I'll go ahead and get started with tying this in to the fuse panel. I'm also going to put some heat shrink tubing over this to give it a little extra protection. Now, I don't actually have my heat gun with me, so if the heat of the engine doesn't seal this on the drive home, then I'll just get it when I get home. All right, we got our relay panel hooked up, so let's get inside the cab and we'll wire in the, oh, before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and run my VGA cable. So I already have a hole in my firewall where I have other wires for radios and whatnot running through. So I'm going to feed this through the hole in my firewall. This comes out right under the dash. Just going to feed that all the way through. And I'll go ahead and plug this in. All right, now we're ready to go in the cab. All right, in the cab. Now everything looks like a mess right now, mainly because it is. I've already taken the console out to test fit the length on my cable. But if you're interested, you know, your vehicle will probably vary, but it's basically gonna have to put it in drive and get this thing in. So this sits here. I have this panel. It goes down in here. You have to lift the console to get it in. So that goes under there. Basically, to take this out, you remove this trim piece. It just pops off if you have this vehicle. There are 2 screws underneath right there. 2 Phillips head. Take those out. Lift up the console gate. This pops out. And once you got that, there is 1 Torx screw behind this little cubby, which, by the way, that's exactly where I'm going to mount my switch. I don't use this cubby, it's just there, extra space. So I'm gonna run my VGA cable through that, and then I'm gonna use some VGB tape to hold that right there, so it'll look just like that. Take that Torx screw out. You have 2 hex screws up here that hold in this tray. So you take those screws out, that tray comes out, Torx screw, and then this whole panel just pops off. You disconnect your wiring for all your controls, put the vehicle in drive, and you can remove this piece. Now, this is what we'll be cutting. I'm going to cutting a hole in the bottom of this, just big enough to fit that VGA cable through. So that is what we're going to do next. Now we're going to cut out an opening in the bottom of this little cubby. I'm going to be using a Dremel tool with a plastic cutting wheel on it. This one happens to be a Milwaukee. You can use any type of rotary tool. Dremel is probably the most popular. I happen to really like Milwaukee products. The battery powered versions of these tools are awesome. So I'll put a link to this below also if you want to check it out. On the back side, I got a silver Sharpie. And another VGA cable. Since I've already routed my other one, I'm going to use this as a template to mark my hole. So, let's see what protection down here. So there we go. The hole is big enough for the VGA cable. Now, we'll go back inside the cab, reinstall this, run the cable, put put in our panel. So I went ahead and ran my VGA cable under the dash, got it all zip tied up, and it ends up right here, right about where the cubby hole is. So we'll go ahead and get everything put together and get some VHB tape on the back side of this panel. Now that I have my dash back together here, all the way up here, this ram mount, if you're wondering, I put a ram mount on that tray. It's clamped on, and then it's basically a tablet mount. And it's a magnet on via a steely. And then I can rotate and move it whichever way I want to, and there's a power cord and power it. But back to the touch panel. So now I'm going to plug in my VGA. So this here is VHB tape. It's made by 3M. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the VHB stands for very high bond. I don't know, but I do know that it works extremely well. That fuse panel and the low voltage disconnect under the hood that are attached to the lid on my fuse box for the truck are both held on with this VHB. They've been on there for months now. It gets hot under there and they have not budged and they're stuck on. So I'm going to apply some of this to the back side, and this will affix the panel to my dash. There it is. How does that look? What do you think? Yay, nay? And then as soon as we pop a fuse in, we have lights. And there it is. So there's a soft white light when the switch is off. If you touch it and turn the switch on, it turns blue. And that is it. Touch panel, switch panel. Touch sensitive switch panel installed in your vehicle. Let me know what you think of this. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Would you rather have some rocker switches somewhere? I debated a lot, but I really didn't have a lot of options to put rocker switches in here. So this touch, I mean, I kind of, I guess, would prefer a nice hefty rocker switch, but this is kind of elegant, you know, and it works really well. So we'll see. Let me know what you think of it below, and thanks for watching. I hope this helped. Y'all have a good one.